one of the things I'll miss most is being able to go to the lectern and say, Buenas tardes, San Francisco de Sales.
Buenas tardes, Lydia.
Really gonna miss that. I'm Lydia. I'm a parishioner of St. Francis de Sales, and for the past 3 years, I've had the pleasure of serving this community as the Director of Digital Ministry, Stewardship, and Community Outreach. So the funny thing is that I have spent my entire career prior to this in the wine and spirits industry. I was a wine expert, and I always joke that it was a really good fit because no other religion has as much respect and reverence for wine as Catholics do. So I felt very comfortable making that leap. Partly thanks to my experience here at St. Francis, I decided that I wanted to use my career to do more advocacy and to give back. This position was great because I was able to build up a lot of skills that I didn't necessarily have. I was able to make a ton of new connections, and there was a really high level of mentoring. I've been really blessed to use the digital marketing skills that I used in grad school to come here to St. Francis and build a digital ministry. We already had pre-existing platforms like social media, we had a web page, but I came on board, and with the help of a great digital ministry team and everybody on the staff, we were able to add new platforms, and we built everything up to a way that I'm really proud of. I often tell people, what I do is not digital marketing. It's not communications. There's something very special about doing it in a church where it truly is digital ministry. And quite simply, digital ministry is just another form of evangelization. We use the tools that we have at this point in history, at this point in the history of the church. We use things like Facebook and Twitter and the web page and apps and email and text groups. That's how we build our community, and that's how we get the word out about all the great things that we're doing here. That's how we build the kingdom of God here on 96th Street. One thing that I learned on this job, something new that I think is very valuable, was the importance of stewardship. As someone who came into Catholicism as an adult, I guess I didn't really have an understanding of the importance of us taking care of our church. It doesn't just happen. These things don't just magically occur. The Vatican doesn't send a check to us. The Archdiocese isn't funding us. It's every Sunday collection, every minister. That's how this place stays. That's how the lights stay on. That's how the doors stay open. That's how we're able to have really top quality programming and events. That's why we're able to invest in so many platforms for digital ministry. It's because we are stewards. It's because it's our church. So I personally am now just so much more mindful about how much do I contribute, how much do I tithe, how much of my personal time am I giving to the church? Because it really is only through a concerted effort of all that we have a community like this. It wasn't until I was on the back end of things as someone on the pastoral team that I really saw how important our ministers are. Nothing happens here without not just the pastoral team, the people on staff, but the people in the pews as well. Because the pastoral team is pretty small. We just can't do everything. But the more people who get involved, the more this church can do. As a woman coming into ministry, I was a little unsure in this, my first and only role in the church. And St. Francis has something very unique in how many of our lay leaders and also the leaders on our pastoral team are women. So I really felt like I had such a strong network of very diverse opinions and experiences in women all throughout the church. So that was a real unexpected and welcome gift. I find that our Spanish language ministry is a really exciting area in the church. There's so much growth. And it's funny, I feel like I came on board around the same time that many of the lay leaders from that group were starting to find St. Francis. So I feel like as I grew in my role as a pastoral associate and digital minister, many of the women at the 12:30 Mass were coming into the choir, were becoming lectors, were becoming Eucharistic ministers, were discovering the importance of social justice ministry. So again, the women in this church have fed me so much. So many people that I consider friends now. And it's just very special to look out and see so many faces who I love and who are almost like family at this point. What's gonna stay with me is the confidence that this role has given me. I learned to trust my voice. I learned to trust my instinct. I learned how to listen to people and ascertain what the community needs, what the organization needs. And I mean, where does that come from? I can only credit that to the Spirit, to God at work. I was in awe of how open people were to me when I said, I work at St. Francis de Sales and I want to work on this project. It's really nice to work at a church that has such a nice reputation. Everybody has heard of us. Many organizations have been working with us for years. So building upon this legacy of St. Francis de Sales was really important to me. It was really exciting. What I liked most about my role here is that it was never about just being behind a computer. As someone who was in charge of digital ministry, I thought I would be on a laptop all day. They couldn't have been further from the truth. I was volunteering in the neighborhood. I was having coffee with families. I was texting with other young adults. I was going to meetings all over the city, connecting. So the social aspect, the human aspect of something that you think is just computers and web pages and social media and likes and it was like that's obviously a big part of the job, but there's such a human component to it. Not only did I grow professionally, build my network, gain a lot of new skills, but the friends that I made, the community that I have built here, I have no words to describe how important that is. It's such an added benefit to be able to come to work and to feel like I'm surrounded by people I love. So, for what it's worth, I've had a lot of other jobs, not in churches, and you don't say that often. So there's something very special about St. Francis, about the SFDS family. Do you like what you see? This is Lydia Serrano, Director of Communications, Stewardship, and Outreach for St. Francis de Sales in New York City. We are a welcoming, inclusive, and multi-ethnic Catholic parish that serves a diverse community strengthened by our commitment to Jesus. If you want to see more content like this, please consider supporting our ministries by making a contribution online. We also invite you to connect with us on social media. Become a part of our efforts to usher in the kingdom of God here on 96th Street and beyond.